What's up guys, I'm back like I never left. In this video we're going to be talking about Workhorse, NIO, and the major electric vehicle companies that we've been talking about for the past few weeks. There have been massive news that came out that can significantly affect the stock price for these companies. So we're going to go over exactly what could potentially happen for the next few days. I'm also going to go over a quick stock market recap, so make sure you stay tuned. Now let's get right into the video. Now before we get into the video, I appreciate if you can hit the like button. If you have any questions or any comments, make sure you drop in the comment section below. So as you can see over here, the major headline that came out that made Workhorse stock to sell off to the downside in after hours is that they announced that their USPS contract is going to be delayed till next year. So the timeline has been being postponed several times, and now this is going to really significantly affect this stock price in the short term, because there's a lot of investors that got involved in this company just to speculate for the USPS contract. So when they find out that it's postponed again to the second fiscal quarter of 2021, so that is far out. So there's going to be huge drastic price sell-off that can happen in the short term. So it already started. As you can see, the share prices have been selling out to the downside, and after hours down 21.28%. So it went to $19.84. So one of the important things that we talked about, when it actually got closer to the all-time highs, we talked about like that is an ideal price point to get to sell off a few shares if you want to, if you don't want to speculate or hold for the long term. So if you actually sold off, that was a great time to sell off right around over here when we talked about it. But right now in the short term, the price prediction, if a lot of people panic and if a lot of people are impatient, if they want to sell off their shares, it could potentially go to $15, So that price point has been really acting as a great support for the past few months. The stock price, even though when negative thing happens, when the overall stock market sells off, it always stays above the $15 area. So that is going to be the ideal price point if price sells off to the downside to re-enter if you're somebody that wants to sell off and also get involved again. If you're impatient about the USPS contract, you can start buying in the stock if the stock eventually drops to $15. So the worst case scenario, I believe in the short term for Workhorse stock is for this stock to drop all the way down to 15. I don't think it's going to go below that, So depending upon how investors are going to be reacting in the short term, that is the price target. So another important thing you want to be looking at for this stock, of course, is going to be ARK Invest is still invested in this company. They have more than 1 million shares. So today, this is the updated post that they have on their website. So they have Workhorse at number 15. They own more than 1.1 million shares. So that's still solid. ARK Invest buy into these companies to hold for the long term. So if you're also somebody that is impatient about the USPS contract, if you're acting very skeptical about why they keep getting postponed, you can also basically sell off and rebuy again when we get closer to the second fiscal of 2021. So ARK Invest is still holding, so that is a fantastic thing to look at. Even if the share drops all the way down, there's still going to be institutions that are going to be coming in and buying in, so there's no need to panic right now. So that is for the short term. So the other important thing you also want to be looking for exactly is going to be another important catalyst that affected the electric vehicle stocks is that the negative development of Nikola and also Kandi. So Kandi is a Chinese electric vehicle company. We talked about this company in the past. A short seller came out and exposed that they actually falsified the sales numbers, and they raised more than $160 million from US investors by doing that. So they claimed that, and they provided a lot of evidence. So that significantly affected this stock to drop to the downside. Yesterday, Kandi stock was down above 20% of the downside. And we also have negative news for Nikola. The partnership that we're working with General Motors is not going to go through. And, the Badger truck is probably not going to be produced, So that is one of the negative catalysts that affected the entire electric vehicle stocks. Also for Nikola Motors, Trevor Milton could potentially now sell off the majority of the share that he owns. So that is also a negative catalyst. So when you look at exactly the price of Nikola Motors is down 14.89%. Yesterday it was also down in double-digit numbers. So that is really bad for this company. Now Trevor Milton and also other insiders can potentially sell off their shares. So that is really bad. So this stock can potentially go even lower. Now let's talk about NIO. So NIO stock had two positive catalysts. Number one, Goldman Sachs upgraded the stock. Number two, their delivery numbers were phenomenal. So their delivery numbers, as you can see, they delivered 5,291 vehicles in November. That is up 109% year over year. So that is fantastic. Even though they had a phenomenal 2 positive news come out today, the stock price, however, sold off to the downside. As you can see, NIO stock is down 10.23% to the downside. So that was a significant sell-off. We didn't have this kind of sell-off within the past few days. And the one time that this kind of sell-off happened was when the short seller hit piece came out a few weeks ago. So what to expect for all this electric vehicle companies? Of course, we might expect a negative sell-off to happen to the downside for the next few days, but I believe it's not going to continue. There's going to be a lot of people that are going to want to buy the dip in these companies. The worst can possibly go to like $40, but I think the stock can definitely just consolidate over here. And also for the majority of the electric vehicle companies, it's really a great time to get involved with them because they've been selling off to the downside. And if you see huge potential for growth for these companies that we talked about for the future, definitely this is a great opportunity to get involved with them. Now let's talk about what happened to the stock market today. As you can see, even though the majority of the electric vehicle companies sold off to the downside, we had a relatively positive day today in the stock market. We have Apple stock up 3%, Facebook 3%, Amazon, Microsoft, Google, all of the big tech companies just rallying to the upside. We also have financials and some energy companies also help the overall stock market. But as you can see, it's only the electric vehicle companies, the majority of them just got really heavy selling pressure today. So that is one of the things you need to be watching out for. So if your portfolio is only built up with electric vehicle companies, of course, you might feel the heat today because they got really beaten down to the downside today. So one important thing, of course, that we need to be watching out for is the vaccine news has been positive for the majority of the vaccine stock, like for Pfizer, Moderna also. So the overall stock market just really liking the progress of those vaccines, and they're coming out and they're saying that they're really very effective, more than 95%. So that is fantastic, and there's a lot of positive sentiment towards the stock market, even though the COVID cases are rising across the states. So for tomorrow, we have important economic reports that we need to be watching out for. For 8:15, we have ADP employment reports. At 9 a.m., we got the Fed Vice Chair going to be speaking. At 10 a.m., Fed Chair Jerome Powell and Treasury Secretary Steven Mnuchin will testify. And also at 1 p.m., we have the New York Fed President John Williams going to be speaking. So, of course, these are important people that we need to be listening to because they can affect the stock market significantly. So pay attention to these hours if you want to get involved or perform any kind of trades tomorrow. So if you have any questions, any comments, make sure you drop in the comment section below and check out all the free links that's available in the description box below if you want to get free stocks, etc. So let's get it for tomorrow. Have a wonderful day.